Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. It's starting to turn colder. Having my tea with you guys here today. And because it's turning colder, I've been thinking a lot about heaters. And I wanted to talk about a heater that you don't hear a lot of people talk about on the prepping channels. The prepping channels talk about wood stoves and buddy heaters, but the heater I'm going to talk to you guys about today is a kerosene heater. Kerosene heaters were extremely popular when I was a kid growing up. Most houses had at least one kerosene heater as either a backup or to heat a larger room. And because I had a lot of experience with those heaters, I'm going to go over a few things, kind of the pros and cons. Plus, I got an old kerosene heater here. Well, it's not that old, but somebody discarded it and threw it out, and I actually sort of dumpster dove and pulled this guy out, and I put it back together, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to set it up here on the bench and show you guys here after I talk about a few of the things going on with kerosene heaters. Kerosene by us at the gas station is about $3 a gallon. These round kerosene heaters take between a gallon and 2 gallons in their tank, and they'll run 8 hours or so on a tank of fuel. So you're looking at, for 8 hours worth of heat, you're looking at right around between $3 and $6, depending on the size of the heater. You can get kerosene in like farm stores and stuff like that in those jugs, but that's the most expensive place to buy kerosene. The best place to get kerosene is at a gas station. And when I was a kid growing up, the co-op had a gas station, and it carried kerosene for the farmers for their outbuildings and stuff. So that's the best place to get kerosene. One of the things with kerosene heaters is there is a smell when you light them, when you first light them, and then when you shut them off, you'll get like an odor, almost like a smoke odor. That is one of the things with kerosene heaters. That's kind of one of the negatives. A lot of people don't like that smell, but that is the nature of the beast. The other thing with kerosene is like I said, they're only 1 2-gallon tanks, so you got to fill them occasionally to keep them running. And there's 2 different ways you can do it. You can do it with a funnel, but then you got to lift the kerosene can. For older people, that's not really that good a way to do it. So what you get is you get these bulb siphons. And what these things do is this straight end here goes down in the can. This goes into the kerosene heater. You tighten that valve up, and then you pump this, and it'll get a flow going, and then it will fill up your heater. These don't last that long, though. So if you're going to do that method, you want to have a couple of these around, because one of these barely lasts 1 season. These pumps wear out. This valve on top will go. So that's one of the things that you need to keep in mind. And like I said, the funnel will work, but then you have to lift the large kerosene can. Kerosene heaters need to be burned off from time to time, which means you need to just let them run out of fuel. And what that does is that actually burns off any impurities that are on the wick that are in there. The wicks are what makes a kerosene heater work, and they are a huge pain to replace. And a kerosene heater, in my experience, will last a couple of years on a wick if you're using it constantly. And when you put a replacement wick in a kerosene heater, it's never quite like it was when it was new. And that's something that I learned growing up. But if you need to heat a larger room quick, you need to get some heat going, nothing works better than a kerosene heater. They just work, and they throw out so much more heat compared to like a buddy heater. And because they're round like that, they work for really large spaces really, really well. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around here. I'm going to set this heater up on the counter here, or on my workbench here. I'm going to go over a few other little things with you guys, get you up to speed on kerosene heaters. All right, guys, here is my salvaged heater. I'm going to go over a few of the things on this guy for you. One is the fuel gauge. All of these kerosene heaters are going to have some kind of fuel gauge on there, and it kind of gives you your run time there of 8 hours on a full tank. This is the manual shutoff. If you hit that, it will trip it, and it will draw the wick down, and it will extinguish it. This is your the knob to raise and lower the wick. The higher the wick is, the more heat it's going to give out. Generally, you run these guys on high. You want as much heat as you can possibly get out of these. And then this red lever here is the igniter. I have to laugh on the igniters because igniters on these heaters don't work very well. And Mom and Dad would always light these with either a match or one of those electronic electric matches, those clickers with a long nose on them. Those are how they would light these guys. And then this here is your fuel tank. You open this, and then that's where you put your kerosene in. And these kerosene heaters have it's like an anti-tip mechanism, and that's what this tray is here on the bottom. This if this gets kicked or bumped, it automatically extinguishes the heater, and then it draws the wick down in, and that's when it puts it out. And typically when that happens, if you shut it off that way, it is going to smoke, and that's where some of the odor of these kerosene heaters come into play. And then to light these guys, that's the burner inside there, and to light it, if you don't use the igniter, you basically lift up this right here, you raise the wick all the way up, and then you touch the wick with some type of flame source, either a match or one of those electric matches. And that's basically how you light these guys. And once they're lit, they pretty much go as long as there's fuel in them, and they put out heat in every direction. This guy here doesn't have the safety cage on it anymore. Years ago, these didn't really come with safety cages, but now they, in the last 20 years or so, they put safety cages on these guys. The safety cage was banged up on this guy here. I think that's part of the reason why this heater got discarded, but I took the cage right off of it because I don't have any small kids or anybody that's going to mess with this. So this is sort of the parts here of a kerosene heater. Now I'm going to get this guy lit, show you what the flame is inside this here, and give you guys a wrap up. That is what the lit heater looks like. It's warmed up now, and it is putting out a ton of heat. One of the advantages of these guys too is they're basically a night light. So if you're using these, up north here where it gets dark at 5 o'clock this time of year, puts out a little bit of light. So if you're using these in in a large room or something, you got that ambience of the firelight, plus it gives out a little bit of light if you got to move around. But don't see a lot of prepping channels talk about kerosene heaters, so I thought I'd do a video on it, give you guys what I know. So if you ever have to use one of these, basically how they work. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys got a little information, a little entertainment, and just adding another tool to your guys' prepper toolbox. But anyway, you guys take care.